Now looking at our footwork, just free work. So now practicing the footwork, eventually you want to just bring it into your freestyle and free work here. At first you can probably think about a few of these steps as you're moving and trying to go now from this position, move again, cross, replace with a V angle change. You could slowly build your way through this, but also you want to start to just flow with this one. As I said at the start, I want my feet to worry about the feet, and then I'll worry about more of the tactical aspects at the top. And so this is kind of where you're going to be practicing your dancing. If you've never danced before, you're going to have to start dancing now. If you have two left feet, the better you practice with this, the more fluid you will get with it. Because at the end of the day, I just want fluent movement here with my footwork. Now, I'll just add to this point. Now, I'm not going to teach it here, but with footwork, typically goes head movement. A lot of the time, you'll have head movement go with it naturally, but sometimes you want to add more active head movement. Whether it's preemptive head movement to preemptively defend against attacks coming in and maybe avoid, or also just being a harder target to hit with your head movement here. Now, typically when you start to do head movement, where your head goes, your body follows actually. So a lot of the times with this footwork that we've been talking about, I've been talking about going to specific angles and where sometimes you can't. So a skip step, I can go here, but a cross step, but I can't step like this too often. So there's certain angles that I can and can't take and some certain steps that I can and can't do. At the end of the day, you just want to flow and you just feel where you should go, where you should feel. But the thing is, sometimes your head dictates the motions. So right now, as an example, if I was avoiding an attack or maybe a flurry of attacks and I've pulled my head this way, you can see where my center of gravity has gone. It's starting to pull me this way. Now, if my head starts to go this way, I can't do right now, a skip step to this angle. Because as my head goes here, my balance and my center of gravity is shifted here, it's forcing me to step here. And when that happens, I don't have to worry about here, oh, I need to go this angle, what step do I need to do? That's a cross step. I won't think about that. This is where the fluidity of your movement comes in, because your head movement sometimes is going to dictate it. This way I feel I must do a cross step to keep moving in that direction. Because, and you can feel this, if I was to go here, for me to step like that, I'm just defeating my own balance. So a lot of this here is your head moving in avoidance reactionary, or it could be me actively moving my head in these positions and my feet are going to move with it. So your head movement is a full different topic, but it really ties into your head movement here. So I will just do a little bit of free work here now with my footwork. I'll try and add in different types of steps, but I'm going to have also my head movement with it, just because that's the natural way to do a lot of these stepping motions. So if I just do a bit of free work here, with my guard up here, sometimes you can add some shadow strikes in here, basically, back, here, here. So when you're training this footwork, it probably gets a little bit abstract sometimes. So it's probably a good idea to sometimes have like a solid vertical object here. So that now gives you an object to now orient yourself to. So from here, facing this object, I clearly now, in accordance to this object, have a forward and back, left and right, and two 45 degrees. You can see here now, if I do a skip step to the 45 degrees, here I'm now on the 45 of this pole here when I was directly in front. I can do a skip replace. And this, having a vertical object here, may help you to orientate yourself for your angles, as also it will help you orientate your body and your guard. Because when I take this angle, I'm doing this footwork and attacks because of an attacker here. So basically, I just don't want to do my skip steps and replacement movements by just moving. Where I've done the footwork, I actually did a cross replacement, but you can see my foot, my body, my guard, it's all facing forward. This was the attacker. I need to orientate my feet, my body, and my guard to the attacker. So if I do that cross replace again, you can see I've done some slight adjustments with my footwork. I've done the same footwork, but my feet orientation here tend to face here, my body's facing, guards up facing here. So this is where later here I can start to do counterattacks to openings here, or start to move away, and I have to orientate into this here. So you can use a vertical object here with a bit of space. This will help you with your ankle motions as well as your orientation. You can then later start to add in some head movement and some shadow counter strikes here. So for example, I've done a cross step here, and I can do a counter. I've also got skip replace again. There's a lead hook. And also I can be in here and I can retreat out. So I can do a skip replace and I've pulled myself off the line of this pole. So if this pole's right in front, I've done a skip at 45 and then I've reorientated. And I can also do stuff like I showed you previously. I'll do a skip replace step, but I'll do a change of angle or a change of stance. So here, there we go. And if this was a post that's moving, or if you can find a partner to slowly walk towards you, I can do here and then start to counter this attacker whilst moving backwards and off the line. So I can utilize this as a training aid. Another training aid you can use, if you have an accessible one with a bit of space, is a mirror. So having a mirror here, you can face off on it, and then you can kind of see how your body and footwork moves, a little bit of the angles. But it's good feedback because I can see how I'm moving here, and this also ties in very good to head movement. So I can do this footwork and make sure I'm moving my head as well. But as I'm moving here, it's just instant feedback with how you're moving, the body and feet. Also kind of nice if you're moving around and your head is up and down, like someone takes a steel pole to your back to your head, and you're too upright here, allowing your head and body to move a bit. You'll get this feedback from the mirror. Also, it's good because you're seeing, obviously, yourself move, but you get used to here, when people are moving, you're also seeing that stimulus back, because other attackers will tend to move. So it's just, you're getting comfortable with seeing a body moving around. Another thing you can do for practicing your footwork, especially with striking now, so I can put the two together, is I can use a heavy bag. Now I suggest having a heavy bag that's freestanding, so hanging heavy bag. If you've got one that's even in space, that you've got 360 degrees access around, that's the best. Although something like this is still pretty good, close to the wall. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be practicing striking, but we're going to have that integrated with mobile footwork here. And so we're going to do one thing that you don't typically do. So we're going to be using what we call dynamic bag, or dynamic heavy bag. So what happens is we're going to be hitting this bag, and this bag is going to sway and swing, but we're not going to stop the bag. We're going to allow the bag to swing and move around. And what's going to happen is we're going to have to use our dynamic footwork to keep opening up angles, stop the bag slamming into us, and be able to still find different angles to keep striking, which is going to be really good dynamic training, because wherever the bag is or wherever I find myself, I want to be able to throw the appropriate strikes with any of my limbs. It's kind of simulating a little bit a moving target now, like a human being typically is, rather than just a bag hanging off a chain, which is where you can practice our strikes, but this is all quite static. This one here is really going to get your feet moving. So I'll just give you a little bit of a demo here so you can just get an idea. And go right ahead. Go from here.